Hello there. So
Hello.
the Bond watch has continued, and oof.
Oh boy.
So we've hit Roger Moore. We had the final one of Connery, at least the final of his original stint, and
Mhm.
then we've now watched the first three Roger Moore movies.
Uh, All right, we're going to start with Diamonds Are Forever. We are going to cover 4 movies this week because we had a little bit of extra time and less time because of the holidays, so we just went ahead and did 4 movies.
Yeah.
Um,
So Diamonds Are Forever was the last of the Connery of the time. He does have one more that he comes back for later on, but technically isn't the same recording studio for the movie, so it's iffy if it
yeah.
really counts.
Uh, the main movies are all done by Eon Films. The only 2 movies that are Bond related that aren't Eon Films are the 67 Casino Royale, which we do have to cover that one too. So I guess technically 4.5 movies. And
I have nothing on that one. Bella decided to try and give that one and didn't even finish it.
we'll get to that one in a second. Should we start with that one since technically it's chronologically first?
Yeah,
Okay, let me because that's further down on the page.
that one is very much an all you because I didn't want to watch it because I knew that it was a spoofish one.
And I should have listened to you. Casino Royale, the 67 version, is David Niven's only his only romp as Bond.
Which
Uh, it
honestly shouldn't have been a thing.
it shouldn't, but it has a slew of directors: Ken Hughes, John Huston, Joseph McGrath, Robert Parrish, Val Guest, and Richard Talmadge. Bond is brought out of retirement to deal with Smersh and is promoted to head of MI6 on the death of M. We find out that M stands for, uh, oh gosh, I can't even remember it. It's Scottish because there's a whole thing in like a Scottish castle. It's a lot.
I don't
Uh,
think it's actually canonical because, again, a spoof movie.
it's not. I guarantee it's not. But he recruits Baccarat player Evelyn Trimble to beat Smersh's agent LeCheffrey or something like that. Having
I,
embezzled Smersh's money, LeCheffrey is desperate for money to cover up his theft. Trimble stops him cheating and beats him in a game of Baccarat. I guess it's cards. Trimble is captured, tortured, and killed. Bond establishes that the casino is located atop a giant underground headquarters run by the evil Dr. Noah. Dr. No. He and Moneypenny travel there to investigate. Dr. Noah turns out to be Sir James's nephew, Jemmy Bond, who plans to use biological warfare to make all women beautiful and kill all tall men, leaving him as the big man who gets all the girls. The casino is then overrun by secret agents and a battle ensues, but the building explodes, killing all inside. See, this is the
you
first
didn't
time
even get
I
that far.
fully no, this is the first time that I fully read the summary for this movie because I stopped. I don't even think I made it halfway through, like Strix said, because I
You stopped at a
already
very
don't.
specific scene.
I did. I already don't like Woody Allen. Woody Allen, as it turns out, is the one playing Jimmy Bond. Um, so fitting that he's the villain. But I stopped at a specific scene because they dressed him as a specific 1940s dictator. I'll
We're
let
not going
y'all
to
guess
say the
which
actual
one.
name out loud.
Yeah, I'll let y'all guess which one. And
Anyone
when
that has
they
seen the
put,
movie knows.
yeah, when they put him in that outfit, I was like, nope. I was already struggling because this iteration of Bond is supposed to be celibate, which is fine. That would have been a nice little reprieve, except they spend the entire first part of the movie when he's stuck at the Scottish castle.
Trying to get him to have sex.
Yeah. Um and at one point he agrees to kiss the quote-unquote grieving widow of M, who turns out she was like an evil spy for the other side.
Go
And
figure.
after she gets kissed by him, she decides to quit being a spy and goes off and joins a convent. She becomes a nun.
He was such a bad kisser that he made her go celibate.
No, he was such a good kisser or something. She fell in love with this man after a fight scene between him and like 7 other dudes who are all dressed in kilts. No, it wasn't a fight scene. It was a test of strength. They were tossing like this big ass rock or something.
Highland Games.
I'm sure it has. I think it has something to do with that. I genuinely could not tell you because I don't remember. I've blocked a lot of this movie from my mind.
For good reason.
Yeah, but like at this castle, it's the grieving mother and the 11 daughters of M who weren't all biologically his. A lot of them were adopted, but they range from ages 16 to 19. And when I tell you that should have been red flag number 2. But yeah, the best way I could describe this is if you took the spoof movies from the late 2000s, early 2010s. Don't die.
No, I accidentally clicked out of the Discord call and it fucked everything up on OBS.
Uh-oh.
My bad.
Did it mess up the recording?
No, it's just I had to pull the window back up.
Whoopsie.
Luckily, I didn't go to any specific channels. Woo!
Please don't accidentally pull up stuff. But take the spoof movies from the late 2000s and early 2010s, like epic movie, disaster movie, things like that. Add Monty Python to the mix, but then boil away any ounce of intelligence that you would get from the jokes from Monty Python, and you would have the 1967 version of Casino Royale.
It had a 26 on Rotten Tomatoes, just saying.
It does. I'm looking at the score right now. It has a critic score of 26 and a viewer score of 34.
The viewers apparently liked it more than the critics.
That checks out for a lot of these ratings, but honestly, I'd probably side more with the critics, but I would go less than 26. This
you didn't even finish it.
This one's a DNR. This one's not even a do not finish, it's a do not resuscitate. Just
it shouldn't have been made from the start.
I'm not mad that they made a spoof James Bond movie because they revisit the idea several years later with Austin Powers franchise.
Which does better.
Somehow. Actually, no, that's a low bar.
It is.
It's a very low bar. This movie could have been good had it been done better, I'm sure.
It was supposed to be based off of Ian Fleming's book called Casino Royale, and I don't think they did good at that at all.
I don't think there's a bit of Ian Fleming's in this other than the man's name is James Bond. And there's a Casino Royale. I don't even know if the casino in this is named Casino Royale because I didn't make it that far.
Well, the whole thing about Casino Royale, at least what I know from the Craig, is that was the name of the tournament that was done for the huge prize money.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't blame you for not finishing it.
But they also had really big names in this because Peter Sellers and Orson Welles is in this movie. I just didn't make it that far. But that's for that one. Next.
Now back to the actual Bond movies.
Circle back to Diamonds Are Forever. That one came out in 1971. It was Sean Connery's technically last Eon film. He does come back for a non-Eon film about like a decade later, I think.
Yeah, because it's right almost at the end of Roger Moore's, because it's like the movie before his last one.
Yeah.
Because it actually came out the same year.
But this one was directed by Guy Hamilton, which also was the man that directed Goldfinger, and I realize that I have beef with, but we'll get into that here in a bit. Diamonds Are Forever, Bond, played by a returning Sean Connery, because this is after Lazenby's movie. So Connery comes back. He is tasked with investigating a major diamond smuggling ring, which begins in Africa and runs through Holland and the UK to the United States.
A lot of blood diamond stuff, basically.
Oh, yeah. Disguised as professional smuggler and murderer Peter Franks, Bond travels to Amsterdam to meet contact Tiffany Case. He is given the diamonds and travels on to the US, where he is met by Felix Leiter.
Yep.
Yeah, Leiter. Bond moves through the chain, which leads to the White House, spelled with a Y, WHYTE, a
Not
casino
the
hotel owned.
government house, but
Yeah, I wanted to specify that point. Casino hotel owned by the reclusive billionaire Willard White. Bond follows the diamonds to a pickup by Bert Saxby, White's head of security, and then into a research laboratory owned by White, where he finds a satellite is being built by a laser refraction specialist, Professor Dr. Metz. Suspecting White, Bond tries to confront him, but instead meets Blofeld, who captures the agent and explains to him that the satellite can blow up nuclear missiles.
Because Blofeld didn't die.
Somehow Palpatine returns. Blofeld admits that he intends to auction it to the highest bidder. Bond escapes and frees the captive White. They establish that Blofeld, the real one, he was just kind of kept in a bunker somewhere. They established that Blofeld is using an offshore oil rig as his base. Bond attacks the rig, stopping Blofeld's operation and dispersing his organization.
The real Mr. White was held captive by two of Blofeld's secret agent women named Bambi and Thumper.
Yep. I forgot their names for a second. Of course, they are very attractive women because par for the course for these movies.
And they kick Bond's ass.
Which was very gratifying to watch.
Honestly, Diamonds Are Forever was a very meh one.
Yeah.
Like the beginning of it, we see Blofeld, or what we think is Blofeld, going through plastic surgery to change his face again. What we find out is it's Blofeld making clones of himself. And we think that Bond has killed Blofeld. Yeah, we think that he's killed him because he buried what we thought was Blofeld in a giant tub of weird mud shit, and then it was weird. But we thought that Blofeld was dead. Then, that was the very beginning before the opener sequence. And then we find out later on when we get into the White House that, Blofeld's actually alive. He has more doppelgangers of himself, because that's a fucking thing.
He also has a doppelganger of his cat.
Yes, that was the thing.
Now that you're mentioning all this, I'm remembering more of this plot. Listen, it's only been a week, but we've had like 2 sets of holidays since then.
We watched it the
Saturday after Christmas.
After Christmas, right. Because I was on call and we really couldn't do too much.
Yeah. And the reason why White was kind of in his bunker, Blofeld he was using either a tape recording of specific things that White has said, or he was using a voice modulator.
It was a voice modulator.
Sound. It was a voice modulator? Okay.
Yes. Made himself sound like the real Mr. White. He had been stuck in there for 3 years, they said. They hadn't seen him in like 3 years.
They were making this very British man sound like a very Texan man.
Yeah, that's right. That one did occur a lot in America. Oh, yeah, because we had an entire chase scene with the cops through Las Vegas Strip, I think it was.
It was Vegas, or it was supposed to be Vegas, which is why I keep equating Mr. White to Mr. House from New Vegas, because it gives a lot of the same vibe.
That one also had the weird 2 guys that Mr. Big and Mr. Kid?
No, wait, what were the names? Hold on. I know who you're talking about. They were, Mr. Kid and where's the other guy?
I don't remember.
Oh, brother, that's gonna bother me. Mr. Wit.
Mr. Kid and Mr.
Wit.
Wit, yes. Which, while we were
Yeah.
watching that, I made the realization Codename Kids Next Door, one of the sets of villains is based off of those two.
Which is still wild. But I kind of get the feeling that a lot of Codename Kids Next Door was based off of Bond anyway, at least because of the number system.
It feels like
Like
it.
the number 1, number 2. Yeah.
Which is cool. That's actually one of the, I wouldn't say parody, but homages to Bond. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Pays homage. Oh god, does that mean the kids are the bad guys?
Well, I don't know.
I never watched the show, so I don't either.
I have watched the show, but they're considered the good guys, but it's a bunch of kids trying to take down the plots of adults, so
I mean, you can be considered the good guys without being the protagonist, or
yeah.
vice versa.
But yeah, those two are a recurring thing. They're actually the last ones they ended up killing because Bond did get rid of Blofeld finally at the end of that.
Thankfully.
But
That one was...
the whole plot of this one was very subpar.
It was another one that just kind of faded into the background as far as plot-wise. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It's probably one that I could just put on as background noise again. Like, I don't remember anything egregiously pissing me off.
No.
But for ratings, the critics gave it 64%. The audience gave it 64%. The audience gave it 57%. I would probably say in the 70s.
Low 70s.
Mostly because below 70s, probably 60s. So probably what the critics said for you.
I would have gone like a 65 to a 70 probably.
I'm willing to give it as much as 70 just because I really don't remember a lot about it.
There was not a lot that stood out. There was not which, yeah, sometimes is a good thing because it didn't have a lot that we had to trash on it.
Yeah. Like, it was one of those movies that, again, if it's playing on TV, I could just, like, leave it on as background noise and do whatever I'm wanting to do instead. It's not one that I would actively go out of my way to turn off.
To turn off or turn on and focus on.
Yeah, it's not one that I'm probably going to give my full attention to either.
For the last one for Connery, it held up decently.
We'll have the last one for now. We'll see how it goes when we circle back to his last film.
Yeah.
His last film.
And then after that, we get into the era of Roger Moore and
gods. Okay.
We don't know how this man had 7 movies.
We don't. Genuinely, we don't.
The best part about the next one, Live and Let Die, was the theme song.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Eagles. If you like classic rock, if you were raised on classic rock, then you're gonna like it, and you probably have heard it.
Motley Crue's cover of it. No, Guns N' Roses cover. I always mix up those two for some fucking reason.
Hairband, so I see it. But Live and Let Die, it came out in 1973. It was, as Strick said, Roger Moore's first Bond appearance, also directed by Guy Hamilton, which cemented my beef for this man. It was either this one or the next one cemented my beef for this man. But
I think it was this one.
Could be either one. No, wait, it was this one. Oh, God, okay. Yeah. James Bond, now played by Roger Moore, is sent to investigate the murder of 3 British MI6 agents, all of whom have been killed within 24 hours. The victims were all separately investigating the operations of Dr. Kananga, the dictator of a small Caribbean island, San Monique. Bond discovers that Kananga also acts as Mr. Big, a ruthless and cunning American gangster. Upon visiting San Monique, Bond determines that Kananga is producing 2 tons of heroin and is protecting the poppy fields by exploiting local sphere of voodoo and the occult. Through his alter ego, Mr. Big, Kananga plans to distribute the heroin free of charge at his Filet of Souls restaurant, which will increase the number of addicts. Bond is captured by Kananga, but he escapes, killing Kananga and destroying the poppy crop.
The way that Kananga is killed is also really fucking weird, but we'll touch that in a little bit. So this movie felt like it was very rude to the voodoo religion.
It does bring in it brings in one of the more prominent voodoo figures,
Baron Samedi.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't remember which one because it's a closed practice, and
Baron Samedi is the most well-known one for hoodoo/voodoo. I think it's the only one that a lot of people know.
Him, and I think people know Papa Legba by name, but not necessarily by visuals. But Baron Samedi is the one that you see a lot portrayed in movies, TV. He was essentially what the Shadow Man was based off of in Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
But you'll see him a lot come up whenever voodoo is mentioned, just because he is so well known. I think he was also in American Gods, but don't quote me on that.
Maybe he's also one of the playable gods for voodoo in Smite, if people play that.
Oh, neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But as you can guess, because this movie touches into voodoo and the occult, it very much feels like one of the old black exploitation films from the 70s.
There was almost no white figures in this. You had like a handful.
And see, I didn't have that much of a problem with that.
No.
But the fact that so many of the extras were people of color, the way that they were portrayed in the movie,
it made them seem evil, and it was very much
the bad guys were all people of color, or they felt like they were acting extra for the sake of the movie.
Yeah.
Hence black exploitation.
The weirder part was, which I think is actually a Louisiana thing, for the death parade, the funeral parade that they did.
It is. I do believe that is actually a thing that they do in Louisiana, where they will, like, if it's a prominent figure, I don't know if it's just like a family decides to do it, they will go through the streets.
It's a very happy one, but the way that they were doing in this is it was to hide the body of an agent that had gotten killed. So it's a very sad and somber one to start with until the agent is killed. They put them into the casket, then all of a sudden it gets to a really joyous and happy sounding funeral march.
Yeah.
We see that twice? 3 times?
We see it twice. One for one of the agents that is killed that Bond is having to investigate. And then we think that they do it for Bond, but I think
it's an agent from CIA. It's a CIA agent for the second one.
Yeah, it was one of the people that he was supposed to be meeting. That's right.
The other weird thing for this one was Kananga / Mr. Big, was it?
Yeah, Mr. Big.
The very bad latex prosthetics on Mr. Big's face to change who he was.
The prosthetics that they gave him were bad in general, but a lot of the makeup for some of the people of color that they had in here was way too pale for them.
Yeah.
It made their skin look very dry.
It looked like they were trying to slightly whitewash them, and it was bad.
It did. It was, at one point, I think we did end up pausing this movie, I think maybe once, but because it made me think of Laurent from Twilight, if anyone's ever seen that, and just like
you did make mention of that.
Yeah, just the abysmal makeup that they put that man in to make him look more vampiric. It very much reminded me of that.
That shows. They never even talked about the Bond girl in the last one, but oh well.
I don't even remember the Bond girl in the last one. I'm not gonna lie.
She was the one that was the diamond smuggler, was the main Bond
Oh
girl there,
yeah,
but she was so unremarkable.
she was so forgettable that we forgot her.
Because I was thinking about the Bond girl. This one is a tarot card reader who is said to have prophetic powers. Like she can tell the
And
future accurately.
but only if she remains a virgin. As soon as she sleeps with a man, then she loses the ability to see the future. Something that really makes Mr. Big mad because he was planning on
Using
saving her.
her to further his empire, and then he was going to be the one to take away her powers by going to bed with her.
Yeah, it very much gave magical virgin trope, which already I was already mad at the movie, but that just kind of like pissed me off even more.
With both of us using tarot ourselves.
Yeah, it not even the tarot part of it. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. She was a memorable one, but for the weird trope. Her
She was a
name
memorable
was
one for
Solitaire.
yeah, like a bad reason for us to remember her. A lot of so far the Roger Moore movies have been memorable for the wrong reasons.
Live and Let Die for its rating was a 67.
Yes. It was a critic score of 67, a audience score of 64, which I think is one of the closest ones that we've gotten
It
so
is.
far.
Oh, I forgot to mention how Kananga dies. So James has this weird gun where you shoot something and it makes it inflate. Don't know how it fucking works. But he
I think it's
takes
compressed air.
Yeah, he takes the cartridge of the compressed air, shoves it into Kananga's mouth and makes him swallow it. And then Kananga just inflates and pops. That's how he dies.
Sorry, blowing my nose. Don't want that on the recording.
You're fine. The silence was like, give you time to think.
Yeah, no, that
There were multiple times where the bad guy should have just been shoot him, kill him. Never fucking did.
Genuinely, like there was a point as soon as Bond walks in to face Kananga in like the final.
Everyone has
movie,
guns pointed at him. No one pulls the trigger.
and it was very much one of those things where I even mentioned just fucking shoot him.
Also,
because
Roger Moore is the least stealthy Bond.
He is. I don't think Bond has been very stealthy in general, but damn, at least Connery was able to sneak around to things. Roger Moore is literally just walking in to evil lairs, meeting with the people, trying to be all charming and smarmy, but honestly, he's more just like condescending and annoying.
Yeah. Which we see a lot of in the one that we watched today, but that's a little bit farther on.
We'll get to that one in a second.
What would you have rated Live and Let Die?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to say somewhere in the 40s. It was not good.
The other thing, he's very abusive to women.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate reoccurring theme. Oh, no, wait, before we get into the rating, we forgot the quote-unquote best part. A reoccurring theme, in addition to everything else that we've mentioned for Roger Moore, is unnecessary fucking chase scenes. There was at least a 15-minute boat chase scene in this movie.
I feel like it was like 20 to 25 minutes. It did not need to be there.
It felt so much longer than it actually was.
And it gave
did
us
not have much variance to the plot, and it gave us a slight reoccurring character that I wanted
Sheriff
needed to die. He should not have come back. Sheriff something or another Peppers. It's J.W. Peppers, I think.
I think so. He's a Louisiana sheriff, and he tries chasing after Bond and the guys that are chasing after him in speedboats to try and arrest them. But this man has the worst fucking Southern accent and the biggest fucking dipwad in his mouth the entire time. It makes him look stupid.
He is stupid, though.
He is, but
they lean very heavy into the stereotypical Southern good old boy, and he's played for laughs, but he's not funny.
no. And they
There's
bring
nothing
him back in the next movie.
for some fucking reason. I'm letting the cat out real quick while
You're fine. But yeah, so far with all of the more movies we have watched, they have very unnecessary chase scenes
that go on for far longer than they need to. But since I had to remind myself of fucking Sheriff Peppers, I'm gonna dock it down. We're gonna sit in the 30. We're gonna do like 30, just because that pissed me off.
I can't go much higher. I might give it a 40. But honestly, there's so much of this movie that could have just been fucking cut out. And a lot of the combat or the villainous stuff is just misconstrued or done too weirdly, and it wasn't needed.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of the stuff goes in and around voodoo and voodoo practices. And I know nothing about it.
I don't know a lot.
I'm willing to bet
and
it's
it
not
feels
accurate.
And I highly doubt it, and I bet it pissed off a lot of people.
As it should have, because what the fuck was that?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I couldn't go more than a 40, I feel like.
This is definitely not one to revisit. No moss this one.
The next one I could put on in the background a little bit easier, I feel like. Man with a Golden Gun. In my opinion, one of his best ones, but apparently the critics don't think so.
The only reason is because of the villain. Man with a Golden Gun came out in 1974. It is another Guy Hamilton, but thankfully the last Guy Hamilton. Let me go back down to the plot. After receiving a golden bullet with James Bond's code 007 etched into its surface, M relieves Bond of a mission locating a British scientist, Gibson, who has invented the Solex agitator, a device to harness solar power, thereby solving the energy crisis. The bullet
because they're talking about at that point that the coal and the oil industry is dying.
Yeah, and then there's the whole nuclear thing, which is a recurring theme in these movies. The bullet signifies that Bond is a target of assassin Francisco Scaramanga. I'm probably mispronouncing the name, but
Scaramanga, you got it.
Okay. Bond sets out to unofficially find him. From a spent golden bullet, Bond tracks Scaramanga to Macau?
I think Macau,
where he sees Scaramanga's mistress collecting golden bullets at a casino. Bond follows her to Hong Kong, where he witnesses the murder of Gibson and the theft of the Solex
this
agitator.
one had a bit weird for the Japanese appropriation as well.
Bond is subsequently assigned to retrieve the agitator and assassinate Scaramanga. Bond meets with Hai Fat, H-A-I Fat, a wealthy Thai entrepreneur. Jesus, I can't read. A wealthy Thai entrepreneur suspected of arranging Gibson's murder and is captured but subsequently escapes. He attracts Scaramanga to an island in Red Chinese waters, where the two men fight and Bond kills the assassin.
Basically, Scaramanga isn't a highly acclaimed assassin. He needs only one bullet to kill every single person he goes after, and he charges $1 million per hit.
Which, because of how good he is, he can do. I will say, first and foremost, this one is going to stand out to a lot of people because Christopher Lee is Scaramanga. He is the villain, and arguably the only good thing about this movie.
He
I
carries this movie pretty well.
I hope his back healed up very well after this movie because of how much he carried it. Another somewhat notable mention for this movie is we get what Mini-Me's predecessor or character that Mini-Me is based off of, Knick-Knack,
Knick-Knack I
who is,
like. He is a cheeky little shit, and it's great.
yeah, honestly, Knick-Knack, as far as henchmen goes, and even as far as villains go, has been one of the better ones that we've seen.
And he's so fun as well because one in the final area where it's Bond versus Scaramanga, he makes a little comment of, if you kill him, I get this island.
Yeah.
Which is fucking great.
It is, but unfortunately, I don't think he survives because we like never see him again after that point.
We do, but that's the ending of the thing. But let's go back to beginning of this. As it is, a lot of it was said to take place in Hong Kong. You have a little bit in Macau, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But we find a lot more of the sexualness of this one actually falling to Christopher Lee's character.
Which, honestly, I don't blame them because it's Christopher Lee and arguably his prime. But the whole premise of it is before Christopher Lee's character, Scaramanga, can kill, he has to sleep with a woman first.
Which I don't know if that's explicitly said, but it seems that way.
No. It is explicitly said.
Okay,
twice.
I did not hear that.
It is explicitly said twice, which is why one of the reasons why I was concerned for the Bond girl in this one, Goodnight, is because she was captured after the original mistress was killed. So I'm just like,
the original mistress that he killed himself. Just saying.
Yeah,
Scaramanga killed him.
I really hope it's willing. We don't actually see anything or any lead up to him. I don't think it
happens, but we don't know.
Yeah, there is no implication that he and Goodnight have any sort of relations or anything.
Oh,
but
just bringing up Goodnight, that is apparently another one of the agents from MI6. It's one that Bond has known previously. She's tried to get with him, and he's just a dumbass.
Apparently, it's like a 2-year thing that she's been trying to get. But honestly, the way that she is portrayed in this movie, I don't blame him for trying to blow her off, because this girl, I don't know how she's worked for MI6 for the 2 years that is quoted in the movie. Because bless her heart.
She is a dumb blonde. She is a dumb blonde, literally. She,
at one point, and I even made a comment about this before it happened, she is trying to place a tracker on Scaramanga's car. And I made a point to say
she's gonna get herself kidnapped. And then she gets shoved into the back of the car.
Yeah, lo and fucking behold, Christopher Lee comes out and just like shoves her in the fucking trunk of his car and is like, thank you for proving my point. Like, she was very much there for her looks and not because she was a competent agent, at least not written that way. I'm not entirely convinced about her acting, personally.
A lot of the acting of the Roger Moore movies that we've seen so far has been flat.
Both from him and the Bond girls. Of course, Christopher Lee is going to give the best performance because,
and he did.
It's Christopher Lee. Like they spent a lot of budget to get that man, and it's worth it because that's the only thing that made this movie watchable. Him and Knick-Knack. And Knick-Knack have made this movie watchable.
The plot was here and there. What happened?
Assassin.
Yeah. So basically the reason that the bullet had been there with Bond's signature on it was because the mistress of Scaramanga sent it saying, I want you to kill him. Because he was never actually target for Scaramanga. He never was.
I don't know if he was or not, because he did have like the wax figure of Bond there that he was using for
the thing there was practice. He had it as because he felt a kinship with Bond. He felt like Bond was his rival. He felt like he was his rival.
Yeah, I missed all of that then.
Yeah. Like, there's a comment whenever he's at the island where he says that we are very similar and we enjoy our killing. Bond says, no, I do it only for the good of my government. I take no pleasure in it.
I think I vaguely remember that response line from him, but only because we just watched it last night.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I probably remember it.
But it was a big case of Scaramanga actually felt a kinship with Bond. He thought that he was the only one that could match his wit.
Little did he know he was setting the bar for himself entirely too low, and he was way better than Bond.
He was.
Totally not biased at all.
There's really not much to be said on this one.
Yes, there is. Because this one also had an unnecessary fucking chase scene and the return of
Sergeant Pepper, Sheriff Pepper, whatever the fuck. Yeah. The main thing that is a gripe about all these movies is unnecessary chase scenes.
That's been our biggest gripe about these movies so far. Because in the 3 Roger Moore movies that we've seen, and we'll get to The Spy Who Loved Me in a second, don't worry. The biggest gripe that we've had so far is that they have all had unnecessary chase scenes that go on for far longer than they need to.
Because we had in this one, after he had gotten out of the karate school, yeah, that was a thing. He got onto a boat and ran or drove through whatever town it was around there, being chased by some of the students and the headmaster of the karate school. Well, Sergeant Pepper's apparently in fucking Hong Kong on vacation.
Yeah, because we get to see him and the missus. I don't know why the fuck. I don't know why the fuck they decided to bring him back.
But then later on, Bond goes and snatches a rental car that Sergeant Pepper was sitting in. Apparently, somehow locked himself inside the car because he's stupid. And then it's like, oh, we're going on a chase. Let me help you. I'm your deputy now. I was like, no.
Yeah, he recognizes Bond from the previous movie, and unfortunately, we recognize him too.
Yeah.
Of all the things to bring back, and it's even mentioned in a lot of the reviews.
Why is he here?
Yeah, like, people were not happy with this decision to bring back Sheriff Peppers. And I agree. That could have been a thing that was left by the wayside.
We honestly were about to skip over the entire section.
We should have. We honestly should have. And I swear, when we get to Moonraker, if this is another thing, I will start skipping the chase scenes.
We're going to have a chase scene in moon buggies on the moon, I guarantee you.
Either that or rocket ships or some kind of like a personal rocket vehicle that Bond and the other like agents are going through. But that'll be a problem for next week. I just read the name of I hate it here.
What?
I just read the name of the Bond girl for Moonraker, and it's Dr. Holly Goodhead.
Yeah, it is. I remember that. But again, that's going to be next time.
Jesus.
This Bond, Man with a Golden Gun, is one of the lowest rated of any Bond movie.
Which is funny because I'm willing to rate it. I'm willing to agree with the audience score. The critic score was 40%, which is the second lowest of all rating for Bond movies, both of which were Roger Moore's, by the way. I just want to point that out.
How the fuck he has 7 movies? We don't know.
I don't. The audience score was 55%. I'll agree with the critics. I will give it 40%, but only because of Christopher Lee. Like, if I can rate the movie separate from him, then the movie itself would probably be, again, closer to like that 30% as the previous one. And Christopher Lee would probably be closer to like 60, 70%.
We only have Christopher Lee for about half of this movie. We really do. And when he's in it, it is 10 times better.
It is, because of course the man is good at acting. It's fucking Christopher Lee. So he's always going to put his whole chest and all 3 of his nipples, which apparently his character has,
Oh yeah, that was
for
his
some
defining
reason,
trait that anyone knew him by, was he had an extra nipple. No one had
which is
seen
such
his
a weird
face.
fucking, which is such a weird fucking thing to be known for. Is, oh yeah, this must be him. He has a third nipple. Okay. Um, but what would you rate it?
I'd go a little bit more with the audience score because I have a bit of nostalgia for this one, but it's still a case of me questioning why I enjoyed it when I was younger. But I'd probably go about a 50, 55.
That's fair. You have the nostalgia factor, but you were also young, so you probably didn't catch on a
Like, I
lot of
think the
the.
last time I watched this, I was like 15, 16. I was still in high school.
Yeah. Oh, and a fun little fact before we move on officially. Uh,
Oh, the little fact that I've been given.
yeah, Strix has pointed out that there is an upgrade for it's GoldenEye, or is it all Bond
It's
games?
a lot of the later Bond games. There is a mode that you can turn on, I think, after you've beaten the game, or it's a DLC kind of thing for some of them. That is called Golden Gun mode. That is based on this one because one shot, one kill.
So there you go. Fun little fact. Probably
Which,
one of the more fun facts for this movie.
honestly, which I find kind of cool because, Christopher Lee has left a mark on the future games.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's a really cool way to pay homage to Christopher Lee. Of all the things that that man has done in this world, that is just like another one of the more random things.
And now to what we just finished watching. The Spy Who Loved Me.
Okay, The
Which,
Spy Who Loved Me. It came out in 1977. It was again Roger Moore, of course. It was directed by Lewis Gilbert. So we have moved away from Guy Hamilton.
this
Thankfully,
this
Sheriff
movie,
Pepper also does not return,
no,
but
this movie felt almost like it was a redo of From Russia with Love.
there were a
Almost.
lot of similarities. Bond is tasked with investigating the disappearance of British and Soviet ballistic missile submarines and the subsequent offer to sell a submarine tracking system. Bond works alongside Major Anya Amasova of the KGB. The pair track the plans across Egypt and identify the person responsible for the thefts as shipping tycoon, scientist, and anarchist Karl Stromberg. Bond and Amasova follow a suspicious tanker owned by Stromberg, and establish it is responsible for the missing submarines. The submarine in which they are traveling is also captured by Stromberg. Stromberg plans to destroy Moscow and New York, triggering nuclear war, and to then establish a new civilization under the sea.
Underwater.
Yeah. Bond escapes, freeing the submariners captured from the other submarines, and follows Stromberg to his headquarters, again under the sea, where he shoots the Tycoon and a torpedo destroys the base. Okay.
So,
To
first of
begin,
all, the secret agent from the KGB is Anisova. Her code name is Triple X. You know,
I love
porn.
I love that you and I go into the same direction when we're about to make points for this. Yes, Miss Amasova's agent name is Agent Triple X.
And she is supposed to be a very good looking woman. She's very average, honestly, for the different girls we see in this, but it's fine. And her
she's
first scene,
pretty.
her first scene we have of her, she's lying with a man. She is literally the counterpart to Bond.
Yep. Oh damn! I forgot that we didn't do a horny rating for the other movies.
They're all about
Honestly,
average. They're about average.
yeah, they've all been average, about 2-3 women apiece. This one has been the horniest, but we'll get to that here in a second.
Again, it's almost like it's From Russia with Love.
Honestly, even down to the fucking train scene.
Which
But
did not last as long.
thankfully, trying to think, we we ended up actually skipping the opening song to this one, and I think it's just because I've reached my limit of bullshit that I want to deal with for Roger Moore. He
Also, the very
has
first line of the song was "He can do it like nobody else can" or something like that, and it was like,
something along he loves me like no one else can or something along those lines. I don't remember.
it was bad.
I never thought that I would miss Sean Connery as a Bond, but by comparison, he is leagues above Roger Moore. I do not like Roger Moore or his rendition of Bond.
He's also not even handsome, honestly, and all Bonds are supposed to be womanizers.
Physical appearance, I'm kind of meh for because the only reason why Connery is half as attractive as he is as Bond is one, he dresses well, two, the accent, and three, the hairpiece. Let's be honest.
Yeah. But with Roger Moore, he has shown, so his vices, we haven't seen much for gambling, but we have traded alcohol for a lot of smoking.
Yeah. And oh God, where do I even start with him?
He is extremely, I wouldn't say extremely, but he is decently abusive to women, whether it is physically or mentally abusive.
Yeah, he's hit in the previous two movies. He hit both of the Bond girls. I don't think he actually hit Amasova in this one, but I can't remember.
He did not hit her, but he was very much mentally degrading her.
Yeah. Also, he tries so hard to be charming, and it falls flat, much like his acting. Some of the lines that he tries to go for, he tries to follow up with like a cheeky little grin or something like that. It seems more condescending. And we've paused this movie multiple times, and one of the reasons why was we find out, spoilers, that Bond is the reason why Agent Amasova's love interest, the man that she was in love with, died. Bond killed him. And the next scene after he admits this and she promises that after this
mission, I will kill you.
Yeah, after we finish this mission, I'm going to kill you. Well, at the next scene, he is just like looking at her with this shit-eating grin on his face. And
it's supposed to be an endearing look, like, oh, it's okay, baby. And it's...
If a man ever looked at me, if anyone ever looked at me like that, but if a man ever looked at me like that after he told me that he was responsible for killing the man or person that I loved, I don't think I would wait until the mission is over. I'd probably just kill him right there. Again, just shoot this man.
People really need to do that.
Gets a chance to shoot this man because he just blunders in to their evil hideouts, their evil lairs, and none of them actually take the opportunity to just fucking shoot the guy. It would solve so many problems. Also, again, sharks in this one.
And a man named Jaws.
Yeah. And guess what? Jaws, as a lot of you probably expect, like I expected before he smiled, has metal teeth. It's at this point the movies start getting predictable because we predicted the metal teeth.
We predicted the death of a guy instantly.
Yeah. And during the chase scene that seems to be fucking obligatory in these movies, I even pointed out, all right, so we had a motorcycle, we had a car, we had a helicopter. Where's the boat? Because we go underwater. And of course there's a boat that just
a submarine appears. Yeah, the car turns into a submarine.
The car turns into a submarine and we get chased by a boat underwater, and this chase scene was only 8 minutes. I timed it.
You timed this one?
I timed this one. But again, we didn't need to go from a motorcycle to a car to a helicopter to 2 scuba divers and then to a little mini submarine.
This is the first time that Bond has killed one of the female antagonists, though.
That's right. I couldn't even tell you what her name was anymore.
I don't remember the name. I doubt it really mattered. But yes, he actually killed...
I don't know if it was mentioned.
It was mentioned. Very little. Because it was the same girl that had greeted them when they first went to what's his face's on water based bullshit.
I just looked up like the longer version of the plot. The shark that they fucking feed people to was supposed to be a tiger shark.
That ain't a tiger shark.
That was not a tiger shark. That motherfucker was a great white. It was a baby great white, but it was not a tiger shark.
The villain of this one we saw for all of maybe 20, 25 minutes.
We really did not see a lot of Stromberg, which is fine, but his hideout, which is apparently called Atlantis, is like a little crab-shaped thing that can rise and sink out of the ocean. It very much gives Hall of Doom from Justice League and DC. Like, it's shaped a lot like that, just with like crab legs.
Yeah.
But another reason why we had to pause the fucking movie, his big plot, like we mentioned, is he wants to set off the nuclear warheads, destroying land, and then creating a new civilization underwater. Much like my issues with Goldfinger, that's a fucking dumb idea. That is a fucking dumb idea because you aren't going to survive either. Like,
No.
all the fish and the ecosystems and the wildlife under the water that you love because of its beauty, they're all gonna fucking die, my dude. Your plan is dumb. Please talk to a nuclear physicist. I beg. Also, and this is another weird thing about this movie, there was a good 10 to 15 minutes at the end of it where there was no background music.
Yeah, there was no background music at all. It was just fighting and the whir of the engines.
Yeah, like, and even in the fighting, there were no like grunts or anything that you would expect to hear a lot in fight scenes where you like throw a punch and the guy gets hit and he goes, ugh, no, nothing. It was silent the entire time. And I don't know if it was just the movie or the file that we have that we didn't have.
It was the movie itself, because I remember that. There was no music. Also, the music of this movie was just weirdly out of place. There was a lot of classical music going on in what should have been serious scenes.
Well, the classical music was more in the hideout for Stromberg, so I figured that was just his thing. He would play classical music because he's villain unsophisticated. But even outside of that, some of the more suspenseful theme scenes, like Shrek said, they would have disco music going on in the background, which is fine, not suspenseful, like at all.
Like the chase scene had even weird music to it.
Yeah, which I guess you can say it tracks because it is 1977. Disco is king, at least it was then.
Well, let's go to the henchman of this one, who was the most prominent face of evil.
Honestly, yeah.
Jaws is interesting.
Hold on, I need to look up the name of the actor again.
Keel?
Jaws.
I think it was Keel. What was his last name?
Girl, don't make me lie. Jaws was played by Richard Keel. He apparently, spoilers for ourselves, comes back in the next one, Moonraker.
Well, we never saw him die, so.
Wait, no. He's supposed to be Nope, that's the person they work for. Never mind. It's the same person, but he works for a different person, so go figure.
Yeah, but his whole thing, he doesn't talk at all. He really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But with the metal jaws, the very first thing we see of him doing is breaking iron chains with his teeth.
Yep.
And then he took bites out of 3 people's necks. First one showed no blood. The second one at least did.
Yeah. And I'm still not convinced that the human jaw can break through metal chains. And these weren't the flimsy ones. No, these were the thick, like 2-inch in diameter ones.
But
These
this
were
guy
the
was also shown to have weirdly superhuman strength because he ripped apart a
true.
car with his bare hands, a metal car.
True. He did. So that is a good point.
Speaking of ripping apart that car, that was the scene where Bond was extremely
Oh my fucking God.
condescending to Agent Triple X, because I don't remember her actual name. I'm just going to say Triple X. Anasova, something like that.
Yeah, Amasova. He was condescending through the entire thing, but that was the one that probably started setting me off, because she is trying to actively get away from Jaws, and
he's
it's
just
like this
sitting
small
there
little...
saying, "Would you like me to drive? Maybe if you put it in reverse." And he's not panicking whatsoever. He's sitting there calm as fuck.
Yeah, like this is all like not quite deadpan delivery, but it's supposed to be played off as like, oh, cheeky little one-liners and shit, which Roger Moore has a lot of, and they are impressive and increasingly getting on my nerves personally. But he's supposed to be trying to put out these witty little one-liners while she is actively trying to drive this stick shift van to get them away from the motherfucker who is tearing this van apart with his bare hands, and at one point picks up the back end of it.
And as they finally manage to pull away when he drops it, he rips the back door off of it.
Yeah. But like, I think that scene is the one that cemented my hate for Roger Moore in general. I was already not liking him. That one just sealed it. So the next 4 movies for me are gonna be a time. Expect a lot of thoughts.
This is a case of Roger Moore has never been one of the ones that I enjoyed. I've barely seen his movies. The only ones that I have seen was Man with a Golden Gun, and I've seen most of Octopussy.
That one's gonna be next week too.
Yep. This was also Roger Moore's highest rated.
Somehow. Critic score for this one was 82%. Audience score was 77%. I'm willing to bet that it's probably because Sheriff Peppers didn't come back. At least that's what I'm attributing it to. I am willing to go as high as 40. Again, there's going to be a lot of 40s for me and Roger Moore. This is definitely one that I'm not going to watch again personally.
No, not even as really.
Like background noise. What would you say?
I'd probably have to agree with you on that one, because I had
40.
so many complaints about this bitch too.
Like, we paused this movie. This movie was only supposed to be 2 hours. I'm pretty sure it took us 2.5 hours to watch it because of like breaks to like run to the restroom and stuff like that.
Or breaks to process.
Oh.
This movie retcons shit.
Oh, see, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I even did write that down. At one point when Agent Amasova is talking with Bond and they're doing like this whole, oh yeah, we know a lot about each other, we know everything about each other, she mentions that he works for the Secret Service, he is a lover of women, stuff like that, whatever. Married once, but his wife died. He stops her right there because it's a very painful part of, like, very painful memory for him, obviously.
That was George Lazenby's Bond. And in George Lazenby's movie, he makes a mention of the other Bond never had to deal with this, meaning code names. Yeah, however, this just said they were the same person.
So at least him and Lazenby are the same person. We have no confirmation for Connery, but we can assume that they are all supposed to be the same person. But it throws out the whole idea that this was a code name, which is why their face keeps changing. There was also a comment that I made that I really hope this man keeps condoms with him just because of, all of the women that he sleeps with. But
I highly doubt it.
Probably not in the 70s anyway. But yeah, no, this one makes it a point to retcon something from a previous movie. Never thought I'd miss Lazenby either.
He only had one movie too.
I know, and as long as the fuck as it was. But yeah, that's where we are so far.
We
Next
have
week,
7 movies until we reach what I consider the better Bonds, Brosnan and
oh,
Craig. I don't actually know much about Timothy Dalton, so we'll see what happens with his two.
I'm not even gonna say I have high hopes and that he can't be worse than Roger Moore. But I've said the
Some,
same thing about Sean Connery, so I'm gonna keep my fucking mouth shut.
yeah.
But next week we're looking at Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, and Octopussy. Love that for me.
She always did enjoy a good squeeze.
Uh, uh, Other than the fact that I have very low hopes for that because of the name, it's also, I found out, set looks like a lot in a circus, and I don't like clowns, so it's going to be a fun time for me, personally. But that one is going to be memorable, and then the week following that is A View to Kill, which is Roger Moore's last one and the lowest rating Bond movie. So we'll
So,
see if we even make it through that one.
yeah. Um, so, appreciate all you guys for hanging out and listening to us with our rants, because these have definitely been rants on these ones.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
If you have watched these movies, feel free to comment down below what your thoughts on them, what your ratings would be, if you actually enjoyed them, because I'd really like to know. Um, if you are not subscribed and you enjoy the content, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. Help me grow the channel out some, because I'm trying to get YouTube going as much as I am with Twitch. Because I do enjoy doing the recording and stuff. It's fun. It's just hard to do solo.
Also, if you haven't followed him on Twitch, go ahead and do that, because I will say this, the streams will range anywhere between just like low energy where we vibe and hang out to insane, chaotic gremlin mess. Just depends on how caffeinated we are.
Caffeinated, or if we're all in a group together.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and feel free to check out some of the other content that I've had on here. We are doing more of these. You'll have a video for each of our sets of Bond movies that we watched through the week, and we will be going all the way through Daniel Craig and his the last ones. So look forward to that.
Also, if you have any suggestions for what we should watch and cover next, go ahead and let us know, and we'll add it to the list of things.
I will go and tell you I'm not doing Austin Powers.
I will agree with that, mostly because I watched at least one of them when I was younger, and I was not impressed.
But yeah.
Like, we'll let Nate cover those.
If he even wants to.
That thing.
But have a good time, guys. See you all in the next video. Bye.
Bye. Bye.